2023 is over and a new year has begun. You probably have a whole list of New Year's resolutions, such as going to the gym and shrinking that inner tube, which has gotten more enormous thanks to all the Christmas cooking you shoved down your pie hole. And you probably swore to treat your family and friends a lot better. Well, you can add one more New Year's resolution to your list. Hi, SA here, and when I'm not sounding like a complete knucklehead on the computer, I'm also a published author, and I have a deal for you. Remember to get your copy of Glitch, a precarious duo, and its sequel, Glitch, The Future is Unwritten. You can get them on either Kindle or paperback. Both are available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other fine bookstores. The links are down below in the description. You will enjoy this crime thriller tale of a kidnapped teen model and a reluctant jewel thief who are on the run from the law while on the treadmill at the gym. And I'm not just some one-hit wonder either. I have more books coming down the pike, so as long as I don't die in my sleep. Stuart? Stuart? You'll see those other books too. Now let's get back to the video. Hello again. Let's say here. If you are my age, you probably remember Star Trek, the original series. And you can take it or leave it. It is what it is. But if you were like a little bit younger, you know, the Gen Xer crowd, you probably remember Next Generation. Good show. And then you probably remember the episode where the Q, the Q Continuum showed up and basically was taunting Jean-Luc Picard and the crew of the Enterprise. And then he snapped his fingers, and then, if you remember that particular episode, the Enterprise, jumped, I think it was like 7,000 light years into a area of unknown space. And then they came across a Borg cube for the first time. And I think you remember what happened next. The Borg said, we are the Borg. But you will be assimilated, and your distinction will become part of the collective. Resistance is futile. Well, of course, the Enterprise resisted. And then, of course, the Q snapped his fingers, and then the Enterprise went back to where they were, 7,000 light years away. But, of course, anyone who's watched enough Next Generation, and indeed, Star Trek First Contact, knows what happened next. But, of course, you say, so what about the Borg? Yeah, well, this video is not about the Borg. It's about Elon Musk. Now, of course, you say, oh, Elon, yeah, multi-billionaire, richest guy in the world, drives around electric cars and launches rockets into space. Yeah, so what about him? Well, apparently that's not his only talents. Because recently he announced that he has been experimenting on neural networks. Neuralink, as he calls it. And he's been experimenting for a while, mostly on monkeys. And indeed, there was a video floating around on the internet where it showed a monkey playing a video game. Nothing fancy like Assassin's Creed or some shit like that. No, it was like old school Pong, like from the 70s. But the monkey was doing it, without his hands, just using his mind. How? Because he had an implant in it wired directly to his cerebral cortex, attached to a machine, and the monkey was controlling the machine through his through his brainwaves. Well, according to old Elon, he's stepped up his game, and now he's placed one of those neural interfaces in a human brain. And you say, oh. And before you ask for details, forget about it, because apparently what he's doing is still top secret, but he made a big fat announcement on X, Twitter, whatever. But of course, the problem with genius is that it's one step from madness. I forgot who said that, but it's a good quote. I like it. I'm not going to borrow it. And science fiction has told us a lot that sometimes there are certain things that you should be playing around with. I mean, anyone who's watched that movie about Oppenheimer probably knows what that story was really about. It wasn't so much about Oppenheimer and his sex life or his argument with various bureaucrats and whatnot. It was indeed, first and last, about the bomb and about Oppenheimer's regret about building the bomb. And indeed, if you saw the film, you probably remember that famous quote. I remember seeing the quote, on the TV many years ago, where the man was clearly distraught about what he had done. And he famously quoted some piece of Hindu script where he said, "I have become death, the destroyer of worlds." Pretty heavy shit, don't you think? But anyway, old Elon, do you think he might regret what he's doing right now? Don't know. Sometimes genius can develop things that they have no clue what they're building or the ramifications for wider society. I mean, for example, when the printing press was developed, do you think Gutenberg knew what it would lead to? Namely, the printed page, the ease of availability of books, literacy on a wide scale, the rise of the Lutherans, and then finally the 30 Years' War. No, I don't think they had a clue where all those things were going to lead to. And therefore, when you look at what's going on with Elon and his neural net, science fiction has probably gave us a clue in as to what could happen. Because anyone who remembers Star Trek, they explain in more than a few episodes what the Borg was really about. It was a collective, a hive mind. And indeed, Jean-Luc Picard, who was briefly kidnapped by the Borg, if you remember, he spoke about how when he was wired to the collective, all he could hear was other people's voices. A whole torrent of them. Until it just sounded like just one gigantic tidal wave. That almost like sounded like white noise because of so many various voices. Because that's basically what the collective was. You had various people all wired to a single neural network, and you had all these various minds from various different species too, I might add. They weren't all human, And how the Borg collective was all these various voices all talking all at once. It was just like, as Picard said, just a total drone of voices. And then, of course, you remember there was the Borg Queen, Alice Krige. Good actress. Yeah. In fact, you want to see an Alex Krige movie that really kicks? Look up Ghost Story. Came out early 80s with John Houseman. And it was one of the last films that Fred Astaire was in. Yeah, look it up. Ghost Story. Alex Krige. Great film. You'll enjoy it, no doubts. But anyway, yeah, Alex Craig, who was playing the Borg Queen, and she played the Borg Queen more than once, I might add. Somehow she was able to filter out the voices and was able to zero in on any individual Borg drone. Nice technique to have. But anyway, does Elon Musk, is he going to be a future Borg Queen or Borg King? I don't know. Because we don't know, no man can tell the future. I mean, Elon Musk might slip on a banana peel tomorrow and break his neck, and then that'll be into him. Or he could be, or he might decide to plug himself into the very neural network as basically a Borg king. Yeah, that could happen. And then what if old Elon goes one step further and says that if you want to maintain your employment at SpaceX or Tesla, you're going to have to plug your mind into the network. Get one of those implants for your head. Do you think those people who currently work for him would say yes? I don't know. I mean, Elon, he's a very charismatic guy. He could probably convince more than a few of his employees to plug themselves into the neural net. But of course, as anyone can tell you, all technology has a dark side. Even something as simple as a stone tool, like a rock. You can use it to break nuts, or you can bust it upside someone's head and kill them. Same thing with the neural net. You could probably use it for productive purposes. Have everyone inside SpaceX or Tesla all communicating at the speed of light, and make the company run a lot more efficiency. I mean, who needs email if you have a neural net, right? You can just think, and then the message goes through the neural net and goes to the other fella in the damn office building a little ways down the hallway. I mean, it's even quicker than, like I said, it's even quicker than text messaging. Or then again, you can use the neural net to look into people's minds, to their thoughts even. Yeah. That's a very big risk. And indeed, if you remember Star Trek, that was one of the things that the Borg Queen was capable of doing. Look at the individual thoughts of all the various Borg drones and control them at will. That was another smart thing about the Borg Queen. She could snap her fingers and make all the Borg drones basically make them like puppets. Make them go left, make them go right, make them go up, make them go down, make them jump up on one leg, whatever she wants. Indeed, that sounds like too much power for an individual to have. So yeah, this neural net could be used for good, could be used for evil. Just depends what Elon Musk has in his heart, in his core. What's it really all about? Now, of course, he currently said officially that the neural net is supposedly to help people who are crippled. They paraplegic, quadriplegic, and it's supposed to supposedly help them be more functional again. Of course, he didn't explain exactly how that's supposed to work, but that's what he claims. No. We can give him benefit of the doubt and take him at face value. Or we could say, Elon, he's full of being, wants to be a megalomaniac master of the world. Perhaps. Perhaps not. Guess you have to wait and see, huh? Yeah, well, that's all I have to say about old Elon and and what hopefully won't be the genesis of the Borg. And that's my opinion.